weight was just skyrocketing. I mean, I gained 82 pounds in about a year and a half-ish. I mean, heaviest I've ever been in my entire life, ever. And that freaked me out. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie, and today we're going to answer the question, did a high-carb, low-fat vegan diet really cause my Hashimoto's thyroiditis? Well, stay tuned and find out. But first, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel for more weekly content. Now, let's get into the video. It all began about 7 years ago. Don't worry, I won't make it too long. 7 years ago when I went in for a routine checkup, and this was one of the first, now looking back, one of the first major signs that something was up with my body. I went in for a routine checkup, got my blood work done, and my doctor told me that my vitamin D was critically low. And so she prescribed me a very high weekly dose of vitamin D for about 4 weeks. And then I thought, oh good, I'm healthy now. I'm ready to go, you know? So fast forward now to a couple of years later when I'm on YouTube and I discover the high carb, low fat vegan diet movement. I discovered on YouTube Freely, the Banana Girl, and Durian Rider, and immediately became obsessed. I right away started to fill up my shopping cart with lots of fresh fruits and vegetables and starchy veggies like potatoes, and I went all out. I binge watched every single video that Freely and Durian Rider ever had. And through them, I discovered other YouTubers over time that I really loved and connected with, like Happy Healthy Vegan and High Carb Hannah. And those three channels and those people truly motivated me and inspired me to truly just live this lifestyle to the fullest. And I loved it. When I say I loved it, my friends and family thought I was insane when I would fill my Vitamix blender with 10 bananas and make my banana smoothie, or if I would, like, for dinner have banana ice cream. I just loved it. Loved eating fresh mangoes, and I made fresh pressed orange juice every day and had huge salads for dinner. I couldn't get enough, and I was the happiest I'd ever been. I lost 30 pounds within maybe 2 or 3 months. I just felt my best, and I thought, finally, I found the way to eat. And I didn't understand why other people saw it as strange. I was just always arguing, particularly with one of my coworkers, about, you know, this lifestyle. He argued that, you know, I was crazy and that this is so unhealthy and all the sugar, but I couldn't deny the fact that I felt awesome and I was looking awesome. So I ignored everyone and I just did my thing, and I always just, you know, relied on those YouTubers to really inspire me and get me through even all the negativity that I was experiencing, through particularly my friends. My family, they thought I was nuts, but they already know that, you know? They already know I'm crazy. So not a big deal. But again, so as time went on and I was loving the lifestyle, I started to experience certain symptoms now that I know of Hashimoto's. So when I consumed specific fruits like apples, mangoes, and citrus, I started to notice that my body would react negatively. I would become inflamed, and I experienced hives on my chest, and I also got a rash on my face, very itchy. And so that concerned me. Initially, I didn't connect it to the foods. I didn't know. I just thought, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? I'm definitely having some sort of reaction, but wasn't sure why. So I went to an allergist who told me that I wasn't allergic to the foods. However, my body had built up antibodies that so whenever I consumed those foods, those antibodies would attack, my body would become inflamed and have like this reaction in the form of hives and a rash. So he just said, just ignore those foods, like just don't consume them. And if you do, just know that you're going to have this reaction. So I'm like, okay, weird, but okay, because doctors know everything. So I was like, all right. Went home a little skeptical about just not what he said, but I was just like, oh, that's all you have to say? You can't, okay, fine. So I went home, and about the same time, I went for a routine gynecological checkup where they saw that my TSH, my thyroid stimulating hormone levels, were getting higher. And so over time, I would go back and those levels continued to go up. And so that really concerned me, because I knew that if you weren't in a healthy range, it could cause infertility issues. And I knew that my goal in the future was, whether I met someone and had a child naturally or whether I did it on my own, I knew I wanted to have children. So that was a concern. But my doctor didn't seem overly concerned. She just said, we'll keep watching. And also during that same time that I got the results for my TSH, I also saw that my prolactin was up, which is not typical for women who are not breastfeeding. That's usually something that's released in your body when you're breastfeeding. So that was raised. And that was another clue that something was wrong. So I didn't take these doctors like at their word that I would be just fine and we'll just keep an eye on it. So I became a detective, and I went home and I did a lot of research. I put all of these symptoms together into the Google search bar, and over and over and over again, I kept seeing the same thing come up, that this new, and I'd never heard of Hashimoto's thyroiditis before, but that kept coming up. And when I did more research on Hashimoto's, I just fit all of the classic symptoms completely. And so what I did, my next step was to call an endocrinologist. I made an appointment, and she indeed confirmed through blood work that I did have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And so, to make a long story short, she put me on medication. That did not help. I was leading a very stressful life at the time, and still going through some stress, but stressful time. And I was gaining a ton of weight. And it's not like I had changed anything. I was still vegan. I was still eating the same foods that I loved. Perhaps my activity level went down because I became just more busy and had just a lot more responsibilities with work. So I did slow down on exercising, but generally nothing had changed, but my weight was just skyrocketing. I mean, I gained 82 pounds in about a year and a half-ish. I mean, heaviest I've ever been in my entire life, ever. And that freaked me out. So I went to my doctor and I asked her, I said, the medication's not working. My TSH just kept going up. And so is there anything I could do, or do you think stress is related to this, or what I'm eating is related to this, because my joints were killing me? And she's like, oh, no, it's just normal. Your thyroid's eventually just gonna get tired and putter out, and you're just gonna be on medication for the rest of your life, and this is just normal. And I looked at her like, lady, are you nuts? Like, I couldn't believe, I don't know, it just, maybe it sounds right to you, but this didn't sound right to me at all. I left there thinking, who's this woman? She actually went to medical school? I mean, very nice lady, but I just couldn't believe my ears when she said, oh, don't worry about it. There's nothing we can do. And yeah, just your thyroid's gonna eventually just not ever work again, and that's it. I was not about to accept that. I did not accept it. I went back to my computer. I did some more research, and between that and just, I so happened that I discussed this with a coworker of mine, and she's like, oh my gosh, I just found this detox, this autoimmune detox, and maybe that would help. So I thought about it, but when I looked at what they were suggesting, it meant having to consume animals again. And I wasn't, at the time, last spring, not willing to do that. I was not willing to go back to eating animals in the least. But time went on, and so I said no at the time. I'm like, oh, thank you, but no. And then as time went on, like my joint pain got worse, and I was feeling worse. I was more depressed. I was heavier than ever. I was not the same. I just felt really tired all the time, lethargic, and just not happy. And I also in that time became pre-diabetic because of all the weight I had gained. It was just a hot mess, a hot mess. And that's when I looked again at this diet, and I said, you know what? It's only for a short amount of time. I feel horrible. I don't want to completely lose my thyroid function, and I'm just gonna try this. So I did. It was hard. It was one of the hardest things I've had to do, was to like sit in front of a plate of chicken, but I did, and I have for the past maybe 8 weeks or so. Maybe not 8 weeks, but coming on 8 weeks. And immediately I cut out gluten. I cut out starches for now, in the form of, potatoes and things like that. So I cut those out for now. This is not at all a permanent solution or a permanent diet. It was simply something to do short term. And so that's what I've done. So I cut out gluten, I cut out those starchy vegetables, and I'm consuming leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables. I'm consuming chicken, salmon, and no dairy at all. So, but I am eating eggs. And so that's what I've done. And immediately, within 3 days, all of my joint pain was gone. My energy was coming back, and I just felt 1,000% better. Not only that, but I went to get my blood work done again, and my numbers went from a 26 last spring, my TSH, from a 26 last spring to a 1.65, which puts me exactly in a normal range. So I was so happy, and I also have lost about 21 pounds in this 5 to 8 week period. So long story short, I know I said that before, but basically, I've just felt better, and I'm going to eventually go back to a vegan diet. I do not plan on staying, and I don't plan on doing this particular diet forever. I am just simply, now I'm in the process of just putting foods slowly back into my mix, and I'm seeing how it impacts my body. And so that's basically what I'm doing. So over time, I hopefully will figure out which foods really bother my body and inflame my body, and which foods don't. And I'll be able to go back, hopefully, to a fully 100% plant-based diet. So, did a high-carb, low-fat diet cause my Hashimoto's? No, it did not. It did not cause my Hashimoto's. In fact, I think that it highlighted, because I was eating such a clean diet, it really highlighted underlying issues that were probably going on for a while. So I'm just really actually grateful to the lifestyle, because I was able to really pinpoint and see what was happening with me. And so I really look forward to going back to eating this way. All right, well, that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are someone who struggled with Hashimoto's thyroiditis, please let me know. Share your story down in the comment section below. And if you're especially a vegan who's struggled with Hashimoto's, I really want to hear from you. Perhaps you have some tips and tricks for me that I can use. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and share with your friends and family. And don't forget to subscribe for more weekly content. I'll see you next time.